Hey guys, it's your boy Sammy coming at you live from the set of Shrinks with Drinks, where we just finished an amazing segment. You have to watch it because the topic is real, down-to-earth, hard-hitting stuff. So I had an amazing time here on set with Shrink Sherry and Shrink Sarita, and we had an emotional talk about trust and betrayal. So you don't want to miss it. Be sure to catch it. And if you follow me on Facebook, follow Bold and Brown with Sammy and Sammy's Corner, where we talk about real stuff all the time. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Welcome back. This is Shrink Sarita,
Shrink Sherry,
and we have our special guest co-host,
Sammy.
Woo-hoo! Love to have him here, so we're going to just go ahead and let Sammy tell you a little bit about himself.
Thank you. Thank you. So first of all, I'm super happy to be here. I love this show, so I'm glad to be sitting and talking to the mental health world. Is that what you call it?
Yes.
Okay. So the mental health world. So I am a medical social worker here. I love what I do. I'm not going to tell you where I work because I don't want you to find me. But I'm also the founder of Sammy's Corner and Bold and Brown with Sammy, which is also a little talk show, real talk, real people all the time.
Yes.
So I'm super happy to be on the show today to talk real talk with y'all. So if you're under 18, this is not a politically correct segment, so look away. But if you are, feel free to join in with me.
All right.
So we are going to keep it real.
Yes.
With Sammy.
Right.
Yes, the Bold and Brown.
Bold and
I love
Brown.
it.
Okay.
All right, so let's toast.
Yes.
Do a little toast with us. We
wine?
usually do a little toast to freedom.
Okay.
So, toast to
Ooh,
freedom.
to
But
freedom.
you're already free, honey.
Ma'am, yes. Okay, free. Okay, so toasting to freedom. I love it.
Yep.
Toast.
Okay.
So what we like to do here is another little segment called Pick a Topic.
Okay, and where do I pick that topic?
And so there's our lovely little wine glass.
Oh, wonderful.
for
Oh my gosh. It's
So what
Here,
you
let
do?
me mix it up for you a little
Thank
bit.
you.
mix
Thank
that
you,
up.
Vanna.
Yeah, let's. Oh, that's
Thank
right.
you. Mix it up.
Mix
Okay.
it up,
Mix it
Miss
up.
Sherry.
That's right.
And then
All
you
right.
pick one of the questions.
Okay.
Read it, obviously.
Okay.
And you go first in answering it.
Do I
so
need to
let's see
close
what
my
you
eyes?
got. Yeah, I mean, you
Okay.
can.
Oh, well, I already
Okay.
picked it, so we're going to move on with
Oh,
that.
okay.
Okay. Why is it important to have a safe space for clients? Ooh, that's very interesting. Why is it important to have a safe space for clients?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to answer that now.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. So I'm going to put this back in here because I'm very animated with my hands, and I'm also going to cross because it makes me sound more official. So why is it important for us to have a safe space with clients? Well, first of all, I think, especially when we're talking about the mental health world, you know, we all come to the table with different struggles in our life. And
Very much
mental
so.
health is very vast, right? There's a whole big, thick textbook that we all go through, and I think it's important because it's hard already for humans to really talk about their emotions.
Yeah.
Number one, I think we're so good at generalizing. We say
Very
things
much
like,
so.
we're happy, we're sad, but we don't
I'm
know,
fine.
right? You're
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
fine,
I
I'm
know.
fine.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think what that does is that diminishes our abilities to get to the root cause of our problems. And sometimes we're so used to coming from a sheltered and scary place, which is why we have all of these emotions that we can't explain. And when you get into a place where someone says, why don't you tell me about what's going on?
Yeah.
What? You said what?
Yeah, what?
Right.
Exactly.
You want to hear about me?
Open up
Right.
and
You want,
everything.
you want-
Wait, what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when you have that type of interaction with someone, you want to make sure that there is an environment where they don't feel closed off.
Yeah.
Where they have that ability to share their innermost secrets, their darkest secrets, their painful secrets, and not feel like they're being judged, because we all know what happens when we're feeling judged. I know what I do.
Shut
I either,
down.
you know, I shut down or I get
Complete shutdown.
angry.
Yeah,
Or I get
exactly.
angry, right?
Yeah.
So
Like, I don't need to tell you anymore. We're done.
exactly,
We are done.
exactly. And I think that doesn't help our clients. I
No.
think what it does is it puts them right back into that
space where they feel neglected, they still feel hurt, and now guess what else we've done? We added another person to that mix.
That's right.
Yes.
And so-
exactly. Very good point. Very good point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, you know,
I love
I
this.
have them
From
sometimes.
a non-clinician.
Exactly.
But you have to, you know, when you're
You have
working with
to.
clients,
Yes.
create a safe space.
Correct.
So whether you're a clinician or not, whatever job it is that you do, it's
Correct.
important to create that space of
Correct.
non-judgment,
Right.
of allowing them to feel comfortable,
Right.
which means you have to feel comfortable.
Right.
Exactly.
You do. And you
Very
have to be in
much so.
check with your own self. Okay, can we
Yes.
talk about that real talk real quick?
Hashtag check yourself.
Exactly. Check yourself, because having that safe space for your clients, and I
Yes.
think there's this phantom client. The phantom client is
Yeah.
us. Because I think when we're working with people, sometimes that triggers things in us that we didn't know were there.
Oh,
Right?
very much so. Very true.
Right.
Very true.
So we need, okay,
Yes.
honey, I read my textbooks, okay? So I think what it does is we
Doesn't
have to
work.
create a safe space for everyone,
Yes.
ourselves, the client, but then that phantom client that
Yeah.
we didn't know or may not have known was there, and
I
that's
love it.
important.
Love
Very
that.
important.
You know?
Very important.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Another good point.
This is some good
Jeez,
stuff.
let me
Yeah.
tell you.
Okay, let me fix my hair, okay? Yeah, so I think it's an important topic, because I think we're so used as practitioners, whether we're
Yes.
clinicians or not, we're so used to coming from that space of that textbook. We're so
Yeah.
used to sitting
Yeah.
down and saying those ugly words. How does that make you feel, right? And nobody wants to talk about how they feel. I don't even know how I
Tell me your
feel,
feelings.
right?
How did it go?
Right. That's why I'm here, for you to tell me how I feel, right? But I think one of the things that's important is when you create that safe environment, the conversation flows naturally, and that's what it's about. Is I don't want to feel like I'm in a doctor's office or a
Sterile.
place where someone's going
Sterile,
to say,
exactly.
sterile.
Yeah, very sterile.
What an interesting word, sterile. Okay, I didn't think about that.
hey.
But I think what it does is it adds one more thing, right? Because how many of us go to a doctor, we get diagnosed with something.
Yeah.
And I think that happens in therapeutic interactions is I'm going to go here and someone's going to say, this is what's wrong with you. And then there's that stigma. So I think part of the safe space that we're creating is letting them know that whatever comes out of our mouth as practitioners, this is not a label by which you identify with. This is a way
So
for us
true.
to have an explanation.
Yes.
Yes.
So true.
Right?
Yes.
We need to exclamation point that.
Right. I'm
It is
proud of
not your
exclamations.
new identity.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
Labeling is such.
Right.
It's another stigma. We'll go back to stigma
Exactly.
with labeling.
Exactly. But if you don't have a safe space, that's what happens, is that we assume that because I've spent so long with these emotions, these feelings that I didn't know existed or I didn't know how to explain, and now all of a sudden I have a label for it. And so
Yes.
that's going to be my identity, so I'm going to run with it. But it's important, I think, you know, from a non-clinical perspective, I just think it allows for open communication, and that's what it's all about, is communication.
Yes.
Well said. Give me 5 on
Right?
that.
Yes,
Okay, I'll
safe
give you one
space.
too.
Yes,
Hey.
safe space.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Open communication. Look at all these sound bites.
I
I'm
know.
just gonna put them in my pocket, y'all.
I'm just saying. I'm just
Amazing,
saying.
like Sammy's corner time in
There
therapy
you go.
session. I
That's
love
right.
that.
Okay, right here.
Yes.
It's all about that real talk, and that's what it should be about, is real talk.
100%.
The world is filled, I think, with really ugly things. I think being in our fields, we know and we have seen the dregs of humanity. We've seen
Yes.
the worst of
Very
humanity.
much so.
Yeah.
Very
But
much so.
at the end of the day, we need to create environments and pockets within that ugliness that says, you know what? If you come here, it will be okay.
Yes.
It may not feel that way, right? Because it
doesn't
never does
always.
at first.
Not
And
at all.
sometimes we got to go
Very
through some.
comfortable. You have your wall up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have to go through some really awful, I'm going to put a bleep right here, but you know what I mean. You got to go through some really awful bleep to get to the root cause of what we're dealing with, right?
That is true.
Yeah.
We got to dig deep, man.
You do.
Dig deep.
Get to
yeah.
that surface bull crap.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that happens with people is we're so good at putting on a face. And that's another reason why it's important for us to have safe spaces for clients, just for people in general. And you
Yeah.
know, sometimes I have a problem with that word client at times, or patient, because I think, again, that diminishes our ability to have safe space. And I understand why we use it, right? I
Yes.
understand that
boundaries
the
and
boundary that we
everything.
have to have, that
Right,
we're
right.
working together, all those things that we're taught in grad school or school just in general. But at the end of the day, they're people. This isn't a business transaction, and I think that's how sometimes it feels, that they're paying us for a service. It's business oriented, and I think that also diminishes our safe space. So in our rooms, however we practice, it's important for them to know, you know what, when you walk up in here,
Right.
you're a person.
That's
You're a
right.
person dealing with a dilemma, and we're gonna fix it.
Same level
Correct.
here. We are
Correct.
there together.
Yes.
Correct.
We're
Correct.
not an expert.
Right.
I love that. Well, thank you very much
Of
for
course,
playing.
absolutely.
Hey, topic.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Good
Appreciate
topic.
that.
Hi everyone, it's Sherry's Picks. So today I am going to talk about a book, Becoming the Narcissist Nightmare is the name of the book. A fellow clinician turned me on to it. Thanks, Monique, by the way. It's a great book. It has to do with being in a relationship with the narcissistic personality disorder. Check it out. You can find it on Audible Books. It's a good read. It's Sherry's Pick for the week. Thank you. Take care.
So, speaking of safe spaces, Sammy, we want to talk about trust and betrayal.
Ooh, such a
Okay.
good topic.
Yes, we about to get real up in here.
Correct.
So, let me know, in terms of having a safe space, why is it important in regards to trust and betrayal? Is it because some clients have been betrayed before
Ooh.
in various ways? But we'll let you lead
Oh,
off.
this will make me take a drink on this. Okay.
Okay.
Because this is about to get spicy.
About to get super real. So I think, first of all, I think it's important for us to understand how we define trust and betrayal.
Okay.
Because I think we are really good, especially from academic perspectives, clinical perspectives, non-clinical perspectives, at saying that this is what trust looks like, this is what betrayal looks like.
Correct.
But I think unfortunately what that did for us is it really created this globalized language, right? So trust has to look like this and betrayal has to look like that.
this, right.
But I think, you know what? I think that's a bunch of bull, because I think...
Stuff.
Yes, I think it's a bunch of bull. I think trust and betrayal is really about your own acknowledgement of yourself and what you're willing to put up with. So it is a feeling, right? It is.
Yes.
It's a feeling, it's a boundary, it's all that stuff
Exactly.
put together. Yes.
And I think what has happened in getting to the question of safe spaces, right, is the idea that people sometimes don't always know who they are as an individual. And when you ask those people, right, tell me 5 things about you. What I find is you get these cookie cutter, I'm smart, I'm pretty, I'm fast, I'm athletic, blah, 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 whatever they want to say. But when you ask them to dig a little bit deeper, you get silence. You get nothing.
You get
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And some people might view that as a bad thing. But what I view that as is an opportunity for people to say, well, why don't I know me? And I think part of that when we're talking about trust and betrayal is the idea that we don't know how to distinguish what does trust look like, what does trust feel like, what does betrayal feel like. I think we're so good at saying, let's take, for example, cheating, right? Let's take that as an example, because I think that's
Perfect.
such
That's
a-
the first thing people go
Yeah,
to.
that's
First
That's
thing,
it.
right? So we think cheating
Big
looks
topic.
like this. We think that if someone cheats on us, then that is an ultimate betrayal of our trust, of our love. But again, how do we define those words, I think? And I don't think that we are really good at defining them for ourselves. I think we are good at saying, well, this is what I was told it's supposed to be. This is what I thought it was supposed to be. But when you ask them, as clinicians, I think you both know, when you ask them to get deeper into the topic, they fall silent. And I think part of that is because we are not really good at being okay with being uncomfortable.
We are
right?
not. We are
We are
not
at all. And
None of us are.
Exactly. It's one of
Exactly.
those things where it's like, what am I doing with this? And when you have safe spaces, I think what that allows in the topic of trust and betrayal is this opportunity for us to be okay with not being comfortable.
Yes.
It allows us to break down when we say, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this, Sherry. I don't want to talk about this, Sarita.
Exactly.
This hurts me.
Yeah.
They may not be able to vocalize that this hurts me, but again, what it looks like is this picture of what trust was supposed to be. And automatically that's an equation to betrayal if that picture is broken.
100%.
And when
Yep.
you challenge that, when
Yeah.
we say, no, Sammy, that's really not what trust is. That's
Right.
really not what betrayal is. You turn a person's world upside down,
Absolutely.
right? When
That is
we
correct.
now I'm thinking, okay, well, who am I if I don't know these fundamental values and principles that I had? Who am I then if I don't have this? And again, it goes to identity. It goes to identity building because we think about, well, this is me, those 5 characteristics that we put out there, right?
Yeah.
We go to, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, and now I have someone saying, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is
Hold
that
on.
really you?
Is that-
Right? Is
yeah,
that really
exactly,
you?
right?
And
Mask,
so
yeah.
Yeah.
it brings us to a place that, again, we are not comfortable with.
Yeah.
It brings us to that emotional void that we didn't know how to feel or
Yeah.
feel. This wine is kicking in, y'all. Oh my gosh.
Here, have some
But
more, honey.
right? Matter of fact, let me have some more. So
Oh my God, 100 subscribers and counting. Thank you so much. Oh my God, we can't thank you guys enough. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for the interviews. Thank you guys for the love. Keep it coming and back to your regular scheduled programming.
Not bad idea. Okay, here we
It's
go.
sangria, by the way.
we are in a safe space right now.
Yes.
So I think what it does is it allows us that opportunity to get to the heart of a person's existence. And let me say that again. It gets us to the heart of a person's
better
existence.
preach.
And that sounds very philosophical, but what I mean when I say that is we are really good surface people.
Extremely good.
And when you talk about mental health, right, because that's what we're here, we're talking about mental health, we're talking to the mental health community. I think what it does is it gives us a label. We're so good at ascribed identity where someone tells me this is what I should be.
Society tells us
Society,
this.
exactly.
Society tells us this is what
That
you're supposed
big
to
old
look.
jerk society,
That's
right?
right.
That big old jerk.
Exactly.
And we have so many people, millions, billions of people within the domestic society, the global society, within our inner circle societies that we have. And I think we're so good at saying, okay, that makes sense. That sort of sounds like me. But because I'm not comfortable with being uncomfortable, I'm going to take that and run with it.
Yeah.
And when we have these opportunities as practitioners to step in and help someone break that down, you need a safe space for that. You need a
Yes,
safe
you do.
space to say
100%.
it's okay that that's not what you are,
That is
right?
correct.
It's okay. And I think that needs to be a fundamental word, phrase
Yes.
in every clinician's
Tool.
practice office
I
toolbox,
love it.
right?
Yeah.
It's
love it.
okay.
It's okay,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because and have some feeling behind that okay, right? Because again, I think language is powerful.
It very
And
much
what
so.
it does is when someone hears you say that word, it's okay, that sounds like, oh, well, you're just saying that because you have to.
It sounds
right?
dismissive.
It
Yeah.
sounds
It does.
dismissive,
It
right?
does. Very
it's
much so.
okay.
It's okay.
It's demeaning.
Yeah.
But when you say it's okay for you to act a fool in here
Yes.
and cry
You are.
and
Get it
break
out.
stuff,
Exactly.
get it out.
Get it
because
out.
at the end
Here.
of the day, you are fighting these internal demons that we need to fight. And I think people are so comfortable with, I've been doing this for so long by myself, right? Girl, I'm having my own therapy session. Hello. Okay, we are so good at fighting these demons on our own.
Absolutely.
And then we build, this is our safe space. So if I'm
Yeah.
sitting in this chair
Right.
and I've been doing that in this chair for so long, this is my safe space. But how do we move the boundaries of that safe space, right? How do we expand that to say, Sarita, Sherry, you guys are okay to be in my safe space, right? And I think that's where I want to turn this topic on its head a little bit, because
Okay.
I think the question is very interesting when you talk about how do we create a safe space. And sometimes I think we need to look at it from the perspective of our clients and say, how do our clients create their safe space, right? Because ultimately they're driving the ship.
They are,
They're the
100%.
ones that are saying, that are disclosing their innermost secrets, but we are saying, this is a safe space for you. But it may not feel that way to them.
Right. That's
Their
correct.
safe space might be, this is me. This
is
is
it.
my safe space,
Yeah.
right? But at the end of the day, what we are asking them to do is, we're asking them to trust us. We're asking them to invite us into their space.
Into their world.
Into their world.
Exactly.
That's exactly.
But
Yes.
here we are saying, you know what, this is a safe space for you.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we've done exactly what society did. We created this ascribed identity
Yep.
for
Yes.
them by saying, you know what, this is safe space. So now we're telling them that this is what safe is supposed to look like.
So then that's a sense of betrayal.
Correct. It's a
In
sense
that
of
sense.
betrayal.
Yes.
It is a sense of betrayal because I came here,
Yeah.
in my opinion, you know, and everyone
Yeah.
has their own opinion on
Sure,
that,
sure,
but I
sure.
think it's a sense of betrayal because we already feel betrayed by the people who challenged what we thought this image was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Whether that's trust, whether that's
Yeah.
love, this person who broke that image
Yes.
betrayed us. And that's the word that we're giving it. But again, now here we are, well, what they're hearing, right? And we've all been there. We've all had people sit in front of us, and what they hear and what we say are two completely different things,
Okay.
right?
Their interpretation of what we
Their
said.
interpretation,
Exactly.
it's very different.
100%.
And so when you say this is a safe space, do we actually know that that is what they heard? And then they walk out, or you say something like, this is what a safe space is supposed to look like. Then they leave and they try to find that in their world, right? They try to find that in their world,
And they
and they
can't.
can't. And uh-oh, you lied to me.
That's right.
You told me if I
That's
did
right.
this was gonna happen. That may be nothing of what we said. So again, I think it's important for us to create a safe space, but I think it's important for us to allow our clients to create their own interpretation of what safe
What
space
safe-
looks like.
Correct.
Because that balance, that line there between trust and betrayal, so fine. So fine.
It
and
is.
it's
That's
so
so true.
easy to cross, right?
It is.
And when you talk about that boundary line, I think sometimes people get confused with boundary. They think it's a
Hard.
it's
yeah.
a hard
Like a wall.
Very much so.
thing. It's a wall,
Yeah,
right?
This is a boundary. This is right here. Like this is it.
Exactly.
No, it is so much more than that.
It's not flexible.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
And I
There's no
think
flex,
that's
yeah.
one of the times where we need to say, you know what? We have a penetrable, is that the right word I want to use right now? Again, this wine is kicking in, y'all. But this penetrable boundary line, because we want to be able to penetrate that boundary. We want
Yeah.
to be able to move it and shift it and
Manipulate
mold
it a little
manipulate.
bit.
And I think
Correct.
that's a better word is manipulate. We need to be able to manipulate that boundary.
Yeah.
So it's important for us to allow our clients to create their safe space so that when they are ready to manipulate that boundary, it's still within the scope of their safe space.
Of what
Exactly.
they want.
Correct.
Exactly.
And so for me, I think trust and betrayal is such an interesting topic because what does that look like, right?
To each
Not
individual.
to
each individual.
Yeah, to each individual.
Right.
What does that look like?
Exactly. And who are we and how do we as a society, as practitioners, so if we want to take it from that global perspective and boil it on down, right, to that micro level, that individualistic level,
Right.
how do we interpret that for every client that we see, right? For every person that we see.
We can't.
Because
We do not.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
we don't.
We
We
don't.
don't.
No.
And unfortunately, and when we're talking about the mental health community here, I think unfortunately that is a topic that is so hard for practitioners.
I think that is
Right.
so true.
Right? It's
Very
a
much
topic
so.
so hard because we are so used to our definitions,
Yeah, we
right?
are.
We're so used to if you hit this, and this,
And you're, that's
This
right.
A equals this.
exactly.
A plus B equals what?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm
huh?
gonna say C, right? Maybe C, and that's the point, right? We don't know. That's the point, is that
Exactly.
we don't know.
Yeah.
And it's such an intriguing topic because if you ask 10 people what
Yeah.
trust and betrayal looks like, you're gonna get a different answer from every person.
Every single one.
Every person.
Exactly.
And so, again, why it's important to have a place that can be safe A space that can be safe, right?
Right.
Notice what we did there. We took safe space
And
changed it to a space that can be safe.
I love
because
that.
that creates the opportunity for us to work with those individuals that we're working with to say, what does this space look like to you when it is safe? And unfortunately, I do not think we are at a place in our society, in our practices. And I think some people are good at it, so let me not globalize that statement. I think there are practitioners that are really good at saying, you know what, this is your canvas, now paint it.
What's up, mental health world? I'm here with the Bruce Muffson from Sunridge of Nevada. He has his own YouTube show. He's a clinical supervisor. He's a clinical rock star. So tune in for my interview with Bruce Muffson, where I get my Oprah on and ask him all the tough questions you want to know.
And they were tough.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to do little tools for our toolbox.
Yes.
Today it is about getting to know ourselves. What do we know about ourselves? So how do we get to know ourselves? Sarita, I'll go with you.
Okay. I was like, okay. I think the first thing that you guys can do, or that we can all do, is sort of dig into our roots. So as Sammy touched on earlier in terms about knowing yourself and the tree trunk analogy that he used, figuring out where your values come from. We all have been ascribed a certain identity, or told that these are the things that we are. So do a little self-examination into why do you have the values that you do, so that will enable you to understand why you draw the line at trust and belief or trust and betrayal that you do.
That is correct. And I'm going to go a little bit off of that one. So is that truly you, though? Is that really who you are? So when you're digging deep, you're looking at yourself. Is this what society has told me, or is this truly who I am?
I like that.
Was this how I believe? This is what I feel inside of me, or is just this what's been thrown at me?
Love that. And our guest of honor.
Yes.
So, what I would say, going off of feelings, Sherry, is at the end of the day, know what feels good to you, right?
I
Because
like it.
finding the me is a cosmic question that you're not going to necessarily answer in your lifetime. And we change, we grow with every experience that we have. So ultimately, and what I will leave you with is understand what feels good to you. Know what you like and what you don't. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that will define who you are.
Oh, so
Love
fun.
that.
Love it.
Thank
so well
you
said.
so
Thank
much,
you guys.
Brian.
Aw, thank you so much for letting me be on your show today,
So
guys.
again, yes, absolutely. We totally appreciate you taking the time to come on,
Yes.
to drop all these gems.
You know.
No.
And we hope that you guys had a good time. And we're going to go ahead and end this with a little toast.
Yes. Oh, my favorite part.
Right.
So
Woo.
continue to be free. Cheers to freedom.
Freedom.
Cheers to freedom.
Thank you guys, and stay
Thank
tuned
you.
for a new episode of
Yes.
Drinks with Drinks.
Everyone, welcome back.
Hey guys! Oh fuck, not that! This is Sherry's life. I live. Okay, what? Okay. Oh my god.
Ridiculous.
I'm ready.
Breathe. Now do our.
Okay. Ready.
Therapist.